Hi, this is Carolyn Cooper, and welcome to the Mental Health and Faith, a Closer Look podcast and YouTube show. Here we discuss topics around mental health and wellness, mental illness, recovery, and faith, all from a Christian perspective. There will be lots of information on this episode in the show notes, and for more information on me and my ministry in God's Corner, check out my website. That's www.ingodscorner.org. Now sit back and enjoy the show. My guest today is Alex Dumas. Am I saying that correctly?
Sure, correctly. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so excited to have Alex here. We met through a social media platform, and he has a very interesting background. He loves helping people, and he just has his hands in a lot of different things right now, which is exciting, and we're going to hear about it. The first thing that I want Alex to do is tell us a little about himself and what he has going on.
Yeah, thank you, Carolyn. Appreciate that. Alex Dumas, anyone who's listening or watching this, I'm a coach, executive coach. I work with leadership teams. I work with entrepreneurs. I help them do this thing called crack a time versus money code so that they can attract their ready to buy dream clients, that they can make a massive global impact and, right, there's the big end, have a great time doing it. Have fun because I believe if it isn't fun, it doesn't get done. And I find ways to create opportunities with my clients to let loose some of the pressure, let loose some of the perfectionism, and just be in flow, be creative. Based out of North Carolina, I'm the CEO, founder of Abundance Daily Coaching. We've been in operation now since 2018, and I'm also the vice president of this group, the BIPOC Coach Collective, which is exciting for me to be able to support other coaches of color around the world and help them grow their businesses, really circulate wealth, and also become better coaches because I really am a advocate for coaching. Coaching's really transformed my life and my whole universe, and that's part of the reason how we wound up together here.
That's great, Alex. And now, for people who I'm going to admit, I sometimes am not up on the current trends and terminology of things in areas that I'm not really not invested in all the time. I didn't know what BIPOC meant. Can you explain what the BIPOC, or is it BIPOC? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What
well,
is
yeah,
what is the BIPOC community? What is
yeah.
that?
So BIPOC is an acronym. It just stands for Black, Indigenous, People of Color. So BIPOC, and that is essentially in our collective, our space, where we've noticed that in the coaching world, it's typically your prototype of either white man, white woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have plenty of white friends and coaches who I connect with, but there really seems to be like that space for speakers that is only for them, is only available for them. There's a lot of opportunities. There seems to be uh, not enough representation of the global majority, and there's a reason why myself and several other coaches we created this community. We launched it as a membership subscription model last year, but we've been around since July 2020, and
Mm.
in February 2023 we 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 did this thing. We started this in a membership space to really help coaches do these two things: become better with their coaching practices and also build up their businesses. And I'm really excited that we've crossed this 1 year mark, and I'm excited that we're just getting started and we've had this much excitement, this much traction so far.
Well, I think towards the end of the podcast, I might have you talk a little bit more about something you mentioned to me about
Yeah.
an event that might be coming up, but we'll get back to that. I really applaud you because every person, individual, has unique needs. And some of those needs come from their race, their gender, their culture, the little circle that they live in. And so that's great that you are addressing a need. My guess is that a good majority of coaches probably were coached at one time and had to persevere themselves. And this is totally an unexpected off the cuff question, but if you'd be willing to answer it, did you go through something in your life that attracted you to this coaching world? And would you be willing to share? And if not, that's okay.
No, no, for sure. I mean, as a human who's lived on Earth, I'll attest that I have had plenty of challenges. And for anyone who's now listening or watching this right now, I'm a black man in America, so that comes with its
Yes.
own set of challenges. What really drew me to coaching, I would say the origin of it was when I was a little boy. I came across a family portrait with my mom. She's passed on now, but she was there. My father was there. My two older brothers, my older sister. I'm the youngest of four, so something about that math didn't match up, right?
Hmm.
And I looked at that picture and the thought was like, well, where am I? And that also planted the seed of I don't exist. I'm not important. I'm insignificant. And I was maybe 6, 7 years old at the time, somewhere around then. And someone here now might be thinking, well, why don't you just ask your parents to take another family photo if that was important to you? But that moment created a prison for me in my head of, well,
Hmm.
I'm not important. This is how it is. I'm sentenced to this.
Hmm.
And I would go about my life doing different things to get attention, to fill that void. Sometimes it would be acting crazy and wild. Sometimes it was at some one season of my life doing drugs and stealing and acting out with the wrong crowd. And to answer your question about coaching, coaching helped me start asking myself empowering questions and questions that could serve me. When I was in the space before, I was telling you where I felt insignificant, I would ask questions like, why is life this way? Why is this happening to me? Why can't it be this way? Why, right? I would ask these things. They're not bad questions, but there's no power behind them.
Hmm.
Coaching, I started to ask questions of like, what would I like to create? What would I like to be different? Who would I need to become to make this thing happen? Who what is available to me right now that I haven't seen that I can get this desired goal, this outcome, whatever it is. And that helped me get into a space of creation, of moving forward, of propelling myself versus condemning myself. Man, why do I always do this? Why did I say that? Right. So maybe some of your listeners have had that. Maybe you've had that experience in your life of these judgmental questions versus creative, loving, and questions and ideas that maybe can serve you instead.
That is, that's beautiful. That's powerful. Yeah, powerful, empowering words and questions. I just think that I'm okay. I'm going to start over because I'm just in awe. Those are words of wisdom that you just shared. Those are words of wisdom because I think, regardless of what types of issues you're going through, and yes, I can relate to some of what you shared, and I'm sure some of my listeners will be able to relate very well to what you shared. The goal is to not feel powerless and hopeless and put yourself down and all the things that you said and say, oh, I'm not worth it. Oh, I wasn't worthy enough to be in that picture. Oh, and instead of doing that negative self-talk and beating yourself up, it is so important to flip it around and do exactly what you just shared. Ask yourself something that would be empowering.
Yeah.
I I love that. So for anyone out there, coaching is a great alternative to working with a professional therapist. If you don't have a really active mental illness and have some severe issues that you really need to work through with a therapist, I think a coach, and especially after hearing what Alex just shared, I think a coach is a great alternative to getting the help you need. And it sounds like it's very practical help.
Yeah.
So, what types of clients? You said you work mostly with entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So, what does a typical coaching session look like, or is there such a thing?
Yeah, in my experience, there hasn't been a typical one because people are just different. They bring different ideas, challenges, opportunities to the table. And my goal is really just to be present with that person, just be there with them and whatever comes up and be the eagle, right? And
Hmm.
I have an eagle on my wall here. My daughter drew that for me. And it's a great reminder for me of the eagle view of just seeing what maybe they're not able to see. Yeah. And with your question, I'll open the door like this. Would you like a quick demo of what that might even look like if, just
Yes.
to kind of have your listeners in the ear could kind of be a fly on the wall if I could coach
Yes.
you for a few minutes, if
I would
that's
love this.
yeah,
I love examples like this.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
bring it.
Sounds great. So, the one thing is you asked me that question before about my challenges and what inspired, what led me to coaching. I wanted this question popped in my mind to ask you. It's like, what inspired you to go into ministry? Like, what challenges or setbacks inspired this for you?
What inspired me to do this is when God reached down and said, Carolyn, you have to make a change, and it is time. Because in my life, I had childhood trauma and I had an untreated mental illness. I had all these unresolved issues and I did not get help.
Mm,
I, from, I say it was like 30 years worth of not getting help. I had, periodically went to someone and said, oh, I'm having some issues, but I never really got to the core. I really never addressed the fundamental issues from the trauma in my life. I did not accept that I had a mental illness. All those things, I denied it. I pushed it away. And it really caused a lot of issues throughout my life. Um, I've had a great life. I have a wonderful husband who had been married for 40 years. I have 4 children, 4 grandchildren, and a fifth one on the way.
mm,
And so God has truly blessed us, but there were many years that were very challenging for my children in our home because of my unresolved issues. And when I started the recovery journey and started to heal and take care of myself, I just really felt a passion for encouraging other people to get the help they need and not wait 30 years to do it. So
yeah,
I'd say that was probably the big thing is I just don't want people to suffer when the help is available.
yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. So at this time right now, we're recording this. This is early 2024. If we could time travel right now, go to a year from now, and hopefully this doesn't happen, but if for some reason you and me don't speak for the rest of the year, we don't connect, we don't anything, and we just kind of randomly bump into each other, right? It's 2025, and you had the best year of your life in your business, personally, right? And I want you to speak about it from that space now. Like, this is 2025. You and me are here. What's happened? What's been created since the last time we spoke?
Well, Alex, in the past year, I have increased my listeners on my podcast and on my YouTube channel. I've increased the people following and being encouraged, and
Mhm.
people are learning to get help that they need. And I've I feel like I've made a difference in some people's lives. I also have another book that I just released in addition to the other books that I've self-published. I'm working on it right. I worked on it for the past year and it's ready to go. So it has been a good year. In 2025, I am further along the path than I was in 2024.
That's beautiful. And if we had more time, I would really start drilling down of like,
Mhm.
well, how many listeners, how many people have you impacted, right? And really start to put that specific number, not to box you in, but to show you, you know what? I had this number, but if you exceeded that, wow, imagine what would
Mm.
be possible with that. That would be even better. I mean, nothing wrong with the number you want.
Mhm.
The number's your number. It doesn't matter to me. But I always look at what's quote unquote realistic, achievable, and then what's that stretch? What's that thing that's gonna
Mhm.
hold you to a different dimension? What's gonna create a new version of Carolyn that she didn't even know she had inside of her?
You know what that reminds me of, what you just said? I've heard it said that to really trust in God to lead your path and to move you along and guide you on your journey,
Yeah,
you should expect you yourself to accomplish something that you would never be able to accomplish without God's help.
yeah,
So what you just said made me think, if I'm setting goals based on what I think I can do, And I see how I want my mental health to be. I see how I want my ministry to be. If I'm just setting those kinds of expectations based on what I think I can accomplish, am I limiting God? So maybe what I need to do is, like you just said, what would be a step beyond what I think I can do, and really expect that God's going to do that work in my life. And then, of course, life is unpredictable, so you never know what's really going to happen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
when you
absolutely.
said that, I thought, that's a great point. Don't limit yourself, push yourself.
Yeah. And maybe even on the other side of that, right? Beyond the push is the pull. The
Mm,
pull to what excites you, what lights you up. And I'll leave with this last thought. As it says in the Bible, we're made from his image.
yes.
In my mind, that means that I have God DNA. I have abundance in my veins. If someone were to cut me open right now, it could look like blood and bone and flesh and veins and cartilage and all these different things. But for me, that's abundance pouring out. That's creativity pouring out. So
Mm,
the same gifts that God has, right? They've he's entrusted to us. He said, you know what? You name the animals, you build this, you create this. So with that, that makes me see that for you, you can really create anything you want. And now it's just if we were to work together, help you get clear on what that is so that you can move forward really powerfully. Does that
mhm.
make sense?
Yes, it does. I like that. I like that. Yes, we are made in his image. And all of us, white, black, red, yellow, like
Yeah.
the children's song, red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight. I don't know if you're familiar with that old
I'm not
time
familiar. I haven't heard that before.
children's song, but anyway, um, that's beautiful. Alex, I want to make sure that you have time now to share a little bit more about, you've done a great job demonstrating the coaching, and I think it's powerful. I think you did an excellent job. Thank you. I want to go now to a book that I think you have, where that you showed me, and it's a study book, a study class or something that you're going to do, and I'm hoping you can give us a little teaser about what people might learn in some of the teaching that you do.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much for that invitation. Myself and one of the actual founder of the BIPOC Coach Collective, her name is Reem Labib Tyson. We're collaborating together outside of the group to create the Entrepreneur Circle book study, and that's gonna start February 14th. So for all you book lovers out there, right, for Valentine's Day, we wanted to do this intentionally. And the book that we're gonna be covering is this bad boy right here. It's called Key
Hmm.
Person of Influence. It's by Daniel Priestley and Mike Reed. And it's a 6 week program, our group study that we're doing. So there's going to be the book is going to be the anchor for that, and there's going to be some facilitation between me and Reem, some coaching, and really have this a nice uh, community of people who are like you, who are excited, who are growth minded, who are building a business. And the premise behind the book is becoming become a person who stands out amongst the sea of people who might be in your particular field. In my world, right, it's coaching. So when you go to a party, right, it's like, I'm a coach, all right, what does that mean? What does that even do? And what they have specified in a 5 step process is really looking at your pitch, looking at your profile, looking at the products that you're offering, looking at uh your your partnerships, right? And there's another P in here. I just can't remember off the top of my head, but there's 5 things. The one of the key things that I've used from this book that's really helped me is in the pitch department, because when we get those questions, right? When someone's asking us to communicate, our message is really important. It's important for me to speak to that person, to that dream person, that ideal person, so that they can hear themselves in my words and they can be like, wow, they're talking to me. Have you ever had that feeling where
Hmm.
you might have read an ad, you might have seen a video, and it's like, oh my goodness, this
Hmm.
person knows me. They're talking to me. They
Yes.
don't know you, but they know enough about you. And this is not to say that you need to be one of those like a ninja of sorts of like, I know this person drinks Starbucks, and right, we're not talking about that, but just knowing their general pains, their general desires too. And that has helped me go to different networking meetings, go to different spots, and just carry myself with a different level of authority, with more
Mhm.
credibility. And that's really the purpose behind this. And I just caught the last P is publishing, so that
Oh,
you're able to share your intellectual property in the world. So that might be through blogs, through my world, it's through podcasts. And I have a daily podcast that I share my thoughts and reflections and insights on every day. So it's just these different things, so that when someone thinks, oh, Carolyn Cooper, who is she? They know, oh my goodness, she's the
mm,
go-to person for this, right? You're a go-to expert rather than being the best kept secret. And I'm
right.
really excited to work with entrepreneurs all over the world in this course when it happens. So it's for
Okay.
6 weeks, starting February 14th. Would love for any one of your listeners to be a part of that.
Okay. I will have information about that in the show notes. Now, I think you said something that when you want people to feel like you know them and you're
Mhm.
addressing, did you say their pain,
Yeah, yeah. Some of
their
that could be the
needs, their
pain.
wants? Because
Yeah.
my listeners in this show, this is a little different than some of the topics we cover because we talk a lot about mental health and how to improve our mental health. And
Yeah.
what you're sharing with me is kind of on the other side, the flip side of that.
Mm.
You are the person who wants to come and say, I have the tools, the skills, the training to help you. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely it. We're gonna come to help that person create an understanding of the gifts that are inside of them already, and the abilities, the successes that they had, and really just start to look at it, how to, for lack of a better word, package that so that their businesses grow. And this is specifically targeted on, but
Business.
maybe some of your listeners aren't, but there's room for them in their profession, their business, their work, whatever they're doing, to increase their professional self-esteem of like, you know what, I am capable of this. I am able to do difficult things. I am able to navigate challenges, have conversations, whatever that might look like, and succeed.
It sounds to me like a wonderful equipping for people
Yeah.
because there are people who have gone through many struggles in life. They've had to overcome a lot of things, and I know a lot of folks who have persevered to the point that they're now ready to share, like I'm doing with my podcast and my writing and my speaking and the things I do. I've been through things and I've turned it into a ministry. I have people who will be listening who have probably either have been through or are going through something. And I think it's really important for them to hear what you're saying, to hear your message, that you can help them have that self-esteem that maybe they didn't have in the past. You can help them take what they want to share and how they want to share to others. Let's
Well,
hear a little bit more about, I'm just going to let you decide what you want to share about.
I think I'll start off with just closing up that chapter
Yes.
of key person of influence. This is going to be the anchor text for this group, and it's going to be the name of the group itself is the Entrepreneur Circle Book Study. So, like I said, myself and my partner Reem, we're going to be co-facilitating this. It starts February 14th, 6 weeks in a row. We're going through different chapters of the book, having different discussions, and the big thing is applying, right? Applying what we're
Yes.
learning from this, so that by the end of this is meant to help you set yourself apart within the next 12 months. So, although it's a short course, taking this, having this community, have people that you're accountable to and working with, will allow you to really move forward in your given industry. So
Mm.
that's one thing. With the BIPOC Coach Collective, we are now in our first year of this membership model being live and active, and we've been able to enroll a number of amazing coaches around the world. We're international. We got people in Germany and
Wow.
Canada, a lot of folks in the United States, West Coast, East Coast, down south, and we have We're going to have our first in-person gathering. The three of our leadership team members, we're going to be available in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, for anyone who's not familiar with that. So we're going to have this event happen Saturday, February 17th from 3 to 7 p.m. So if you are a member of our collective, you're welcome to join. If you're not a member of the collective, you are welcome to join. It's free of entry, and it's going to be at the HQ house in DC. I don't have the exact address right now, but you can Google it and look that up, and we'll have a Eventbrite link where you can sign up, get your tickets there, and we'd love to see you. We'd love to learn your story, learn who you are. It's not going to be your typical like networking button up. It's just it's a party, it's a celebration, and it's a real culmination and opportunity for people to come together, be united, and network and just celebrate each other. The last message I'll really share with you and your audience is something I share on my daily podcast. It's called Love, Serve, Care. And hopefully your audience can really receive this message that you are born to live your life in abundance. You're the master of your futures, you control your freedom, and you have complete dominance of your thoughts, your emotions, and your habits.
And that is a great place to end. And if we could do those things now, for me as a Christian, and for you too, it's in the Lord's power, but
Yeah.
we have to take the steps.
Yeah.
He
He
doesn't just
orders the
zap
steps.
us.
He orders the steps. We have to walk them.
That's right. So I'm going to have information on Alex's podcast, his leadership coaching, his book study coming up, just all kinds of stuff in the show notes, because I want you to find this guy. He has shared so humbly and been so wise today. And so, Alex, thank you so much. Please stay in touch. Let me know how things go, and we'll get this information out that you can start sharing for people in your community.
Much appreciated. Thank you, Caroline. God bless. Stay blessed.
Thanks. God bless you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget there's even more information in the show notes. You'll want to check those out. Now, please join the conversation on mental health and faith. Leave your comments or send me an email with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions. I really look forward to hearing from you. May God bless your journey.